Hello guys, welcome back. So in this class we're going to continue in our Django course, and first of all I would like to show you um, this schema here, this small chart. In this image we can see how what's the workflow for one request on Django. Once you understand and you fully can see this workflow on your project, I'm pretty sure that you got like 80% of the most important things that you need to know about Django. Once you understand this schema, you are uh, about to get used to the Django workflow, so you will be able to fully understand how the request goes on Django and how Django's handle it. And so let's get it started. So one request, what's a request? Every time when you open a website, like you open the inspector here in the network tab, when you type one address there, everything that loads on your page is based on requests. So are basically resource that the web browser will request from the server, and then the server will get one by one and will handle that and will transform that in one response and will give the response back for you. So request and response is the base of the web. Okay, so if you have a look here, you can see that the client or the browser will do a request for the web server. In this case, locally running in our machine is this web server running here. But on Heroku, we're gonna have one professional web server based on Nginx. Okay, so the browser communicates with the Nginx, then will communicate with your application by using the WSGI file. We have this WSGI file here. This guy is the entry point of your application. Everything will start here in this get WSGI application. Okay, this will link um, the outside world with your application, so by this file. That's the importance of this. So the request comes to a middleware. Django is composed by so many middlewares that will handle basically security sections, CSRF tokens for like in case of hacker attack, and middlewares for authentications, middlewares for messages, and for X-frame options. And so Django is composed by a lot of important middlewares that do so many important things for web application that you doesn't need to care about, because Django will handle that for you. So when the request pass over these middlewares, it will be redirected to your URLs file. So Django, you will come here to the URL in this list and see what you want to do. If you have a look here, I just type refresh here in this page, and the header of our request has one slash admin. So Django will get this whole URL and will try to find inside your URL files to see if there is one correspondent URL for this domain. So Django will come here and see, okay, the request is from the admin, so I have the admin URL. I will redirect that for this file that is linked with the views. The view is the next step. As soon as Django do the URL resolution, it will point to a view, and this view might or not communicate with the model that will go to the database, get some data, and the view will transform that in a template, and then we'll put everything inside the response and we'll give it back to the real world until it gets to the client browser again. Okay, so that's the whole workflow, the cycle that one request becomes a response and come back to a web server. We're going step by step, one by one, building our own code to handle that workflow. Okay guys, so I want you to get this link and like have a look on this every day for a few minutes until you get used to all this workflow, okay? Because it's very important. If you don't know this order, you might get lost sometimes with few bugs on Django, okay? So let's get it started. First thing, soon as, because we doesn't need to handle the WSGI or either the middlewares, we start here from the URLs. Let's create our first URL and link it with a view. So we go here and URLs, and let's say that I want to create a path called clients, okay? And then I will link it to a view called my clients or list clients, let's say, for example, okay? I'll put a comma here. We are pointing to a view that doesn't exist. We need to create this view. To create this, I'm going to create a file called views.py, views.py, okay, like this. And we need to import this render file, or either no, let's do something different. We can do just one HTTP response like this, Django HTTP response. That's the first, I think the most simple way, the simplest way to give one response back to the user. The HTTP response is very simple object. Let me look for that HTTP response. This guy here, this one. So as we saw here, the request comes in, resolves in our view, in the URLs to a view, and then the view needs to give a response back. So this HTTP response is the simplest way to create a response. So here in URLs we created the list client view. A view, what's a view? View is basically a function that will do the hard work. Basically it will be triggered by the URL, and then it will get the data, transform it back in, give return as a response. And it's just a Python function. So you define the Python function with def. By default you need to receive the request as a first parameter, and then you return one response. In this case we're going to use this class called HTTP response that receive one string. I'll say hello world, okay, and then I will return this. Okay, now that we have this function defined, we can import that inside the URLs. So from views import list clients. Okay, so now we don't see the red lines um, right here in the list clients, so it seems that it is working fine. So now guys, we have the URL clients pointing out to a view and ready to give a response back. Let's check if it works. Okay, so I will delete that. Instead of admin I will type clients. Look, so it's working. Okay, it works very well. So once we did this request that went to our server as a client, I got the response here, the response back called hello world. Okay guys, so that's the most simple way to go all this way around, all this circle around, all this schema around, from the request up to the response. Of course we are jumping the models, the model step, we're jumping the template with HTML. We're just returning one very simple response as a string, but at least we have already the whole size workflow complete from the request to the response. Okay, next class we're going to learn how to return, instead of one simple text, we're going to return one template file with real with a real HTML page. Okay, guys. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get the same result as I get here. But if not, don't worry. You can put it here that I'm going to help you. Okay. See you next time. Bye bye.